Welcome back, everyone, to Beat the Game. My name's Steve, and it's time to continue with the fourth aspect, the leadership aspect. Now, a lot of people say, well, leadership is easy. I just throw in allies. And I'm like, yeah, it's no different. I think for Wanda Maximoff, it's going to be pretty simple. We're probably going to be wanting to aim as an ally resource strategy with a couple of build up my ally strategy. The other ones, like the recurring enter the battlefield effects and stuff like that, could also work. It's just basically how you like playing leadership. The one strategy that I know is not going to be super effective is with like the Moxies and everything to like boost up her stats. I don't think it's going to be the most viable, but again, if you want to make it work, you can definitely make that work where Wanda is just doing teamwork with some of the allies and just like punching for 5. That's how I like to play leadership now, just to like use a lot of teamwork, and it just feels more synergetic. But again, it's super janky. It's if you're looking for like a good solid deck build that is going to be efficient all the time. This is more like, we're playing a multiplayer game. I just want to have some fun with this. That is how you're going to build with like boost up my ally. So running those 3 Moxies and then running the 3 Teamworks. But again, those are a lot of events, and Maximoff, it really pays off Scarlet Witch when you're running her own event. So, but let's see what kind of synergies we can find. Even though, again, leadership has like 4 main directions right now. But you know, let's just see what we can do with this. Into the protection aspect. So let's look at these event cards first of all. The new event that was, brought into her hero pack as a bonus card was Last Stand. It is a hero interrupt. It is 0 cost. When an ally you control attacks, it gets +3 attack for that attack. After that attack resolves, discard that ally. So this is basically it's not a sacrifice outlet, which it's basically if you want your ally in the bin. Now, here are some synergies with this card. Again, it's not super synergetic. It's really if you want to combo this off with Make the Call. So let's say you have your Nick Fury, you have a lot of resources, or you have your Maria Hill, or an ally that you really like that has a really good into the battlefield effect, and you don't want to, I see the strategy working a little bit for multiplayer. Especially Maria Hill, you just have Maria Hill attack for 4, which is kind of weird because she already has a fort of 2. But it can work. it's not that it wouldn't work. And then you just make the call, bring her back. Everyone else draws a card, and then you can kind of loop that because of this Last Stand. You don't have to wait another turn. So again, but is there more an efficient way? Yes, it's called Rapid Response. Block with Maria, bring her back, everyone draws a card on the next turn. So is it viable? Yes. Is it something that is going to work really well? I think I have to find and really start looking for ways to make this card work because it doesn't trigger with Rapid Response. All right, guys, because it is a discard that ally. Because I had thought I found this awesome combo when I started talking about this card. It does not work. I was like, all right, Nick Fury comes in, deals 4 damage, then attacks for 5, discard, Rapid Response, bring him back, deal 4 damage, attack, 2 damage. So, and I was like, oh, it's so good, until I read Rapid Responses after an ally is defeated. So defeated, so is not discarded. So again, sometimes we interpret the rules however we want in our head, and we have like, oh man, and then we just like, whoa. Somebody points it out, like, Steve, you're going too fast. Read. So yeah, reading is key, guys. Reading is key. So for me, Last Stand, I don't think it's gonna fit in the deck. I just gotta find. I'm gonna find a place for this card at some point in some sort of strategy. At one point. The only other place I kind of like this with is with what's his face, Black Knight. Now you have a piercing of 5, so, and if he's going to go away anyway, again, so it can kind of work with certain allies that that have these cool abilities. but again, this is a card I want to include. I only have 25 to 35 spots in my deck, depending on how you build your decks. So I'm like, is that going to take a spot? Well, no. All right, I'm enough of this card. All right. Let's look at Make the Call. Obviously, Make the Call is always a great card for leadership. If you have enough resources and you're going to be pulling off some stuff, in my opinion, again, since Wanda has a lot of events, minimizing the events in your deck is going to be key. So make the call to get what, you know? It's not like you can go get Ironheart and bring her back into play. It's when you play her from your hand. There's a bunch of... They kind of nerfed the... what's it called there? The enters play effect. Because they saw how good that was, and now it's like when you play from your hand. And I know there's a few of the allies now that it's when you play from your hand, just to limit. I think, is it Miles Morales? I think the last two ones that it came out are like that. From your hand. So Miles Morales and Ironheart, both of them is when you play from your hand that they get the boost effect. So recurring them is okay, but it's not going to be as cool. So for me, Make the Call doesn't make the cut. All right, Moxie, again, if you want to do something weird and janky and you want to boost their stats, I think it's cool. Like Moxie and Teamwork, if I'm going to throw in some like superpower or buff up my hero stats and then just do basic events, I like that, especially with... if I'm boosting my hero, again, that is a line of play. If you haven't seen my videos on leadership strategies, go check those out because it's pretty informative and it tells you like the different lines of play that you can have with the leadership aspect. Because there's four main ones. So unless you really want to build a deck where Wanda is actually just thwarting for a bunch or punching for a bunch, I don't see room for Teamwork or Moxie in my deck builds. Sorry, I love them, but her stats are a little bit too baseline to really make that work. Again, the Teamwork I think works. Man, I gotta stuffle these double words. All right. Again, Teamwork is gonna do well with like an Iron Man that I'll put it in, so now I can thwart for 5, or I can thwart for once Iron Man is inspired, or like Ronin, or any other like character that has like a really high stat. I enjoy putting Teamworks in my leadership builds, but again, it really depends how you want to run it. But I like Teamwork, so for me, I'm definitely going to be building a deck with Teamwork in mind. Make the Call, finding those allies. So most of the allies in the leadership pool are Avengers. So if you are going in that direction, or if you really want to find Quicksilver in the solo play, you just put Quicksilver as your only Avenger ally. And then Make the Call. Call for Aid will make sure that you find Quicksilver really fast. Hey, get it? Really fast? And maybe, man, I gotta stop with these. It's too early for this. All right, so Make the Call. I don't think it's gonna... no, Call for Aid is I don't think it's gonna be called in for the deck builds. I don't think so. Man, stop it. Leadership. Always. All right. Get Ready. Again, great event, but again, it's just too many events. I really want to focus on events that are going to actually have a very big impact on the game instead of a quick fix. So for me, Get Ready doesn't make it. Strength in Numbers, again, this is going to be our primary build. So Strength in Numbers, where you want to use your allies as resources. So for me, Strength in Numbers is definitely 3 of in my decks, where I just want to use my allies to tap to draw more cards. And with Wanda, once you have all your allies in play and you're just using them and drawing like 5-6 cards a turn, and then Avengers Assemble. Again, that is a ally. That is not even a Wanda focus. I'm trying to figure out how I can make her work with leadership, but the thing is, leadership kind of works on its own. So I'm really trying to find a focus while I'm, let's think about this for a second. What can we actually make work here? But again, it's very easy to fall into these strategies that we're comfortable with. And I've been trying. I really rarely play leadership these days, just because of that. Because I feel like it's very streamlined, and I feel like it's mostly one direction: put allies out, win the game. So it is the strongest aspect, in my opinion. But again, is it the most fun to play? It really depends how you like to play the game, So strength in numbers, definitely an event that you would want to include into your deck builds. United We Stand. That for me, I don't mind it. Heal 1 damage, and depending on the stage number, so you can kind of heal 2 allies with this. It's basically if you're playing on expert, it's a first aid. It's a first aid, so you can keep it blue, and you don't have to put the basic cards in. And it's heal 1 damage from up to X friendly characters. So basically, you can heal 2 in the end game where it actually matters, where you can actually heal 1 point of damage on 3 characters. That kind of makes a little bit more sense. So I do like the card. I just haven't found what deck I want to build it with. But maybe with Wanda, you can, if you're going to be having your allies, do some of the damage and do the occasional points of damage with occasional thwarting while you're just busy, while you don't have the strength in numbers and you just don't want your guys to sit around. So doing United You Stand, use them once. All right, guys, let's use you, and then just heal them. I think makes perfect sense. I still prefer first aid to this because that's only 1 on a bunch of characters. But again, it's not a horrible card. It can still be played. Inspiring Presence, again, it's a 1 cost event unless you have an ally that is super, super powerful. I like these with Ronin. If I'm playing this, is basically I'm playing my allies beat up the villain. So that's basically what I'm running. It's going to be Ronin and Iron Man, and I'm just going to be using this to ready them up so they can do their own thing. Ronin is better because with an Inspired, he actually attacks for 4, and if you have the Power Glove, he actually deals 5 damage. So giving him an extra ready and an extra health, so that you can do 15 damage in a turn. So just with Ronin. So it's super, super powerful. And again, you need a little bit of setup, but once you're set up, you're just laughing. So Inspired, again, depending on what you want to play, is a card that you should include depending on your ally strategy. Same thing for Ready for Action. Giving an ally a tough status card, it makes sense. It really helps for the blocking. It's a good tactic card. I don't mind it. It's pretty good. So again, giving an ally tough, it's a free block. So basically, it limits what the villain can do, unless that villain has piercing. And again, you want to keep your allies in play. And there's certain allies I like to play this on Stinger. So I'll just use Stinger and then just Ready for Action, and then use Stinger and just block. Because her stats are not that amazing. So she's only a 1/1, but if I can use her constantly to block for me, I'm yeah, it makes perfect sense. So again, the cards you want to play. And then if you're playing all of these events, then you're not really playing the Wanda events. And then I think this is where it kind of stands kind of weird with her signature cards being so powerful that it makes deck crafting around those cards a little bit more challenging, if you know what I mean. Morale Boost, again, if you really want to boost her stats, that's a good card, but I don't think it makes the cut for me. Lead from the front, again, unless you're you really, really, really want to run a lot of events in your deck, it's not bad. It's +1 attack, +1 thwart, so it can kind of help you in a pinch. I definitely recommend probably running 1 in a deck in any type of leadership build. 1 is pretty good. So, and that's if you want to really go event focused. All for One. again, it's an attack, but when you have like all six, like if when you have six Avengers on the board, it's not bad. The good thing with Quicksilver here is you can actually, use Quicksilver once, punch for two, ready Quicksilver, and then do all for one and do 9 damage. So it's a 2-cost 9 damage event once you have all those Avengers. But again, you need to build around that. Do I hate this card? Hell no. It's good. I do enjoy the card. You can really maximize this effect. And then you go. It's a lot of resources, but again, if you're wanting if you're running leadership, most of the time with the strength in numbers, you can draw everyone, ready everyone up, do all for one, and just keep your allies in play. That's what I kind of like about these type of deck strategies is you can really look into like how to keep your allies alive, use your allies as resources to do things rather than just attack and thwart. You just use them for damage, use them for drawing cards, use them for, or actually just use them to attack, so it gives you like a lot of lines of play with your allies instead of just like, all right, at the beginning of the game, an ally was, okay, I'll come into play, he'll do something, he'll block for me. That was the mentality at first. But I quickly discovered that allies staying in play are way more powerful because I can recover. Keeping my allies in play, it's like basically ganging up on the villain. So as soon as you have an ally with you, it's 2 against 1. 2 allies, 3 against 1. 4 allies, 4 against 1. So then you're just increasing your stats, especially that most of the stats on these allies are pretty much the same as yours. So it just makes a lot of sense that you can just beat them down way faster when you have a bunch of people attacking. So there you go. That is for the leadership events. Again, depending on what you want to do, and we'll try to do a couple of creative deck builds with this to switch it up a little bit. Like we'll use our allies and how do we maximize our allies for like resource generation, and then we'll find something more. And I'm trying to see like what we'll do, what kind of decks we're gonna build. I'm thinking as I'm looking at these cards, I'm like, what can we do with this? What can we do with this? We'll see. We'll definitely see. As far as support cards. Triskelion is definitely a card you want to include. 1 cost upgrade is not bad. Again, Quinjet is not my favorite card, but I don't mind it in a Wanda Maximoff deck. I don't want to have 3 out, but having 1 that can just build and then I have a 4-cost ally. Well, there you go. I'm gonna pay it for free. Just let it build up until you actually need it. And like, all right, even if there's like 10 counters on it, all right, whatever. Oh, there you go. My new ally is here. It's free. Let's find that, and then there you go. So it's a long-term card, basically. It's just a long-term card, and so for me, it's like, yeah, if I'm gonna play one, I'll play one. And then team training, well, it's just a good card to have on the table, giving an extra hit point to all your allies. It just for 2 costs, an extra like activation for everyone else is such a small price to pay. So this should definitely hit the table as soon as you get it. All right, and then let's look at the upgrades. Now, most of the upgrades are for your allies. So, again, making your allies super powerful, making your allies with incredible stats will also help you win the game way faster. And again, this is not something we're going to go into lengthy details with because it's just too easy. Power Gloves and the Sky Cycle combo is so good. And you can do that on any ally that's an Avenger. Because those are the only 2 that specify that your ally has to be an Avenger. So if and when you're playing leadership, most of your peeps are Avengers. So I kind of like this with Quicksilver because then you can like, I can ready 3 times with Quicksilver and do and once he's inspired, you're doing Quicksilver running forever, so I think it's just fun. So it's basically Quicksilver attacks for 3, readies, attacks for 3, readies, attacks for 3. So that's like 9 damage. He does take 3 consequential damage, but once you put the suit on and he has Quicksilver with this, now he has 7 hit points. That's just crazy. So this is kind of the combo I see, which is Quicksilver always be running. with this. All right, let me just put it out there a little bit and just so you guys can see. So basically putting all the upgrades and then just running 3 inspiring presences and 3 get readies. And then you're just like, and basically all you're doing is finding Quicksilver, always be running. So basically you're just running a Quicksilver deck with Wanda and just like and just punching through with Quicksilver. So that is one thing that I kind of see being super, super cool. And then you're just running like first aids to, play him over and over and just heal him up. I wouldn't run the, what's it called there? The United We Stand. And just use Quicksilver and just kind of do the 3 Earth's Mightiest Heroes and just keep going with Quicksilver. And then basically she's just standing there just like laughing to the bank. All right, so use and abuse your brother. Just make him do all the work. I feel like this is a family thing. Like I'm going back to my childhood there. So definitely that is a strategy that I really kind of want to see in play. Wanda, it's a Quicksilver deck using Wanda. And then if ever he dies, or you just bring him back with rapid response. So obviously that is a one of in your decks. So you can kind of build your deck around Quicksilver and doing all these fun things and just like, and it will feel more thematic. I just thought of this, like, this is how this stuff just comes to me as I'm talking about these cards. So if you guys like that idea, I'm definitely going to be doing, that is the deck I'm going to right now. I'll post a bunch of stuff there, but this is going to be my primary deck that I'm going to be running. You get it? Running. Stop it, Steve. Running with the, and then the rapid response. There you go. So that's it for the upgrades. Now let's look at the people we want to play with. All right, so do we want to run an Ant-Man? Of course we do, because we can just put him down for 1, or we can put him down for 4, or even we can put him down for 0 once we have our team training. Again, we're just going to be using this as resources. So, again, I'm going back to that Quicksilver deck. We're not even going to play any Wanda cards. We're not playing anything from Wanda, and just using Quicksilver. Oh, man, I'm so happy. That is so good. All right, never mind. I'm done. All right, and then so we can definitely see Ant-Man just using the cheap allies like Stinger, and then Maria Hill. Obviously, these are all allies you want to put into play, even though they're not Avengers. Who cares? Squirrel Girl just for the damage. Like I said, I don't even need to do. You guys know, like, the allies are just all super good, and then you can do like you know what I like. I kind of like Hawkeye in there, and just you have Quicksilver and Hawkeye, and you have that that final battle with Ultron. Who was there? Was Falcon there against Ultron? I can't even remember. No, Ultron was. Yeah, I think Ultron was before. I'm trying to remember the movies now. But Vision, yeah. So you have Wanda, Vision, Quicksilver. And then Iron Man. There you go. So, and then you just have those 4 guys out there, and just like boom, there you go. And you have your Age of Ultron movie, and you have like a super cool game going on like with those guys. I think that should be super, super fun. And then everyone else, who cares about everyone else? Just go for theme in that deck build, and then just kind of build up all of your characters, boom, 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 and then always be running with Quicksilver and just be like, you didn't see this coming, right? All right, guys, so I'm going to take 2 seconds. I'm going to build that Quicksilver deck. All right, guys, so I built the deck, the Quicksilver deck I was talking about. Man, I actually got to play it today with a couple of friends, Nathan and Brian, and this deck was just bonkers. So turn 1, I'm actually lucky enough. I had Quicksilver, I had Iron Man and War Machine, Chaos Magic, and then I'm like, you know what? I'll just pitch my 2 guys and see what else I can get. So if you can build up Quicksilver, and amazing, I had like all these really amazing cards, and then boom, Quicksilver turn 1. So on turn 1, Quicksilver attacked twice, did 6 damage. On turn 2, I had a Power Gauntlets on him, did 8 damage. No, is it? Yeah, and then I inspired him. Yeah, so he was inspired. Was he inspired or Power Gauntlets? I think he had Power Gauntlets turn 1 and inspired turn 2. Anyway, so it was 6, 8, and then it was consistently between 8 and 16 damage every turn and then just keep healing him up. Amazing. So, and I actually started with a 47 card deck, which I think was just way too many cards. So after taking a few minutes and just playing that game and just feeling that game out on with a 3-player game, so we came back and did a couple of corrections. So these are the maximum of cards you want to play at one point. So obviously you want to play Agatha Harkness because she's extra resources when you're an alter ego. Chaos Magic just to pay for something that's expensive. And then everything else is like secondary. So all of her, like her crest and her magic shields and warp reality, this can wait. Your priority is going to be to build this guy. And how do we build this guy? So obviously we put all 4 of the upgrades on him as soon as we can. All right, so finding all those upgrade pieces for him is just crucial to really make him a beast. So that brings him up to 6 health. So we also included a team training to bring him up to 7 health. And to go one step further, we added 3 honorary Avengers to bring him up to 10 health. In the game, like I said, at one point I just healed him up. And then Crossbones attacked me, and I'm like, I'm at 4 health, guys. I'm going to die. You know what? I'm just going to use Quicksilver to defend for me. And he took like 4 damage. And then so he was exhausted. But just so you know, it says here, action, ready Quicksilver, limit once per phase. It doesn't work in the villain phase. So I can't ready him again. I checked with the rules gurus. And it was my opinion as well that you can't do an action during the villain phase. So that's why I'm like, it's super cool, but maybe if it would have been like a hero interrupt or something like that, then it would have been able to ready, or even a response like after you exhaust ready Quicksilver. If it had been something like that, then it would have been like, oh yeah, he can defend twice. So it would have been cool. But anyway, that being said, so that gives him 10 health and then 4 damage, or 3 damage and 1 ping. So again, so that's 4 damage every time he does stuff. All right, after that, how do we keep him alive and how do we keep him going? So we are running 3 first aids and we're running 3 inspiring presence on him. So again, we're playing a lot of things. This is all around Quicksilver. So all this stuff here is just for our friend Quicksilver. So that is for his side of the deck. Now, what are we playing with everything else? What else are we playing? So we're running the Age of Ultron people. So everyone who was in the Age of Ultron, all of the Avengers, so Hawkeye, War Machine, and these guys are just cannon fodder. So to be able to make sure that we have 5 allies, obviously we need these 2 cards. And then we're running 2 strengthened numbers just for extra card draw. All right, now, so we have the chaos magic and everything that we can kind of just play off. And then we're running also the 3 double resources just to make that, this deck viable. Now, this is where it kind of gets funny. If you want to use it, you can. So what we did at the last, so there was only, 8-9 damage left to do to the villain. So on the last attack to kill the villain, I played Last Stand, and I just went at the end of it, I'm like, Quicksilver is discarded. So after everything he done, he just goes away. You didn't see that coming. And just say that. And I was like, oh man, I'm just reliving the movie. It was so fun. And again, you don't have to play this. This is just like a meme card. And then you can put Order and Chaos. But if you want to make it a legit 40 card deck, you could just get rid of these 2 and just maybe have it at 41 with the Sorcerer Supreme if you want it to be more powerful and consistent. But the other one I really like I said, we played 3 players, and we did a 3-player game expert with Legions of Hydra, and we did that in 45 minutes. It was crazy. 3-player game, 45 minutes. Beautiful. So this deck, again, Sorcerer Supreme is this if you want to make it a little bit more, if you want to, it's 42 cards, but if you want to like kill the Last Stand, if you don't want to do that, that's fine. Like this is just me being, just janky with my deck build. But Yeah, definitely put the Sorcerer Supreme. It makes a lot more sense. But just for memes, this deck was super, super fun to play. Again, if you don't have Quicksilver in your opening hand, or if you're playing against Ultron, I would say put a make the call just in case you lose you lose Quicksilver to Ultron. So at least you can always bring him back, and then you don't have to go through your entire turn just to waste all of this. But again, if you don't have Quicksilver, you can always build the other Avengers and then use the strength in numbers to draw more cards. So there's a lot of things that you can set up. Since I actually had him in my game on turn 1, I actually never played any of the other Avengers. I was just dealing damage and healing him and just going bonkers with Quicksilver. Such a fun deck. Super, super cool. All right, guys, and I'm going to build another deck, which is, I'm going to call it Endgame, which is basically 100% focused on Wanda. And this is focused all on Quicksilver, like his last stand. And then the other deck I'm going to build is all about Scarlet Witch and just how to make her more powerful. So, yeah, so these decks are going to be on CDB. And if you guys like these, just put a little comments and stuff like that. Give me 2 seconds. All right, so for our second deck build, we're doing an endgame theme deck build. So we're going to be adding all the things that are there in the endgame movie. So Sorcerer Supreme, so that kind of represents Doctor Strange, and then we have War Machine, who's there in the movie. Stinger is the only one that I wanted Wasp, but there's no Wasp leadership, so close enough to Wasp. That's why I put Stinger in. Ronin, because it's not Hawkeye anymore, it's like Ronin. And then Falcon's there at the end, and Ant-Man comes back, and then Iron Man is there. So this is just like the Avengers assemble at the end. But these Avengers, all they're doing is they're just going to be there for resources. And some of the cool actions we're going to be doing with them is either we're going to be drawing cards with the strength in numbers, or we're going to be using all for one to do these massive attacks of like 9 damage by exhausting all their Avenger allies and doing 9 damage. So that's going to be a cool option. We are running one Avengers Assemble because then we can, strengthen numbers, Avengers Assemble, all for one. Amazing. And then we put an Endurance on us because we're basically going to be just running these Avengers. We're still going to be using our cards like Molecular Decay, and just kind of think about it as the end game battle with Thanos and everything, where she just destroys everything. So the Triskelion is actually there during the time heist, so that's why I put the Triskelion in there. And I put the Avengers Mansion, which is kind of like their house, which is like the compound. It's not really a mansion, but it's like the Avengers compound. So I think it's close enough, to make it real. And then I think the Quinn Carrier is there as well in the movie. 2 rapid responses, they fall, if you fall, get back up, just keep on fighting. And then the 5 double resources. So again, this is going to be more of a themed effect deck. You're going to be trying to run a lot of the chaos magic to put those allies into play for free. And then just, using strength in numbers and just to draw more cards, putting all these permanents down, and then just using molecular decays and all for ones and just really dealing lots of damage. This I think is definitely a super vile solution for multiplayer. I think in solo it's going to work as well because, again, you can always, work around this. Rapid response is just like, okay, I got my Falcon, he's going to die. You got your 2 thwarters and the other people. You have 4 allies that can thwart for 2. So, and plus you can thwart for 2. So you should always have threat under control. Anyway, again, super thematic build, Avengers Endgame. So I hope you guys like this video. I hope you guys like the breakdown for the leadership aspect. It's never too long because, again, leadership is pretty unidirectional. But I thought this would be like cool thematic deck builds to go out of the norm and just kind of focus on different things. So again, 2 different deck strategies for this character that you can explore and you can experiment with, and you can kind of just make your own. So guys, hopefully you enjoy this and you put my little like, subscribed, and you share with the people that actually don't know this channel. So guys, keep on playing Marvel Champions, and I hope this will help you beat the game. Ciao, ciao.